panel, el ADN del shooter de los mods al Battle Royale. O sea, espero que seáis súper fanáticos de los shooters, que conozcáis juegos como el Quake, o el Counter-Strike, o el PUBG. Tengo a 3 maravillosos invitados. Os voy a hablar todo el rato en inglés, pero luego al final tendréis un ratito para las preguntas y si es en español no pasa nada, la traducimos, ¿vale? Entonces, vamos allá. Que entre quien falte. Ahí está. Indiana Jones. So good morning, Comic-Con. Welcome to what might be the most explosive panel of the weekend, literally. Today we are diving into the blood-pumping, crosshair-snapping, world-changing evolution of the first-person shooter genre. From the early days of LAN parties to 100-player Battle Royale showdowns. And for me, this isn't just a professional honor, it's personal. Before I was moderating panels like this one, I was competing. I spent years as a professional player in Quake and Counter-Strike, so trust me when I say this stage feels a lot like home. Today I'm joined by 3 of the very people who built that home, the architects of everything from headshots to chicken dinners. We have with us 3 absolute titans, visionaries who didn't just play the game, they changed it forever. First up, I'm shaking, the co-creator of one of the most iconic games in history, the man behind the original headshot, the legend of games like Doom and Quake, John Romero. Estamos fuertes, ¿eh? Next, a pioneer who helped redefine tactical gameplay and online shooters, co-creator of one of my longest relationships, Counter-Strike, Minh. Welcome. And finally, the man who dropped us all onto an island, that's me, and made survival the only rule, the creator of PlayerUnknown's Battleground, Greene.
Nice.
So we'll be talking about FPS history, the rise of Battle Royale, game-to-screen adaptations, because that's also a topic, and where this wild industry might be going next. So buckle up. It's going to be a killer session. I love it. So let's start with the origins, with the legacy, with why we are here, actually, where everything began. Each of you helped define or redefine the FPS games. What were the key inspirations or frustrations that led you build each one of the titles you built? Please, let's start with John.
Well, we didn't have any frustrations, really. We just wanted to make a better game than Wolfenstein 3D. We wanted to have better variety in weapons. We wanted to have more characters. There were no flying Nazis that we put in Wolfenstein, so we needed to take the stuff that was going to fly. And we had a better engine that we could make a more believable, more interesting, scary world. Wolfenstein wasn't scary with the light in the game. It was scary when the door opened and there was a Nazi in front of you. So we wanted to just build something way more exciting, more interesting, and make it sci-fi, because we were doing World War II before that. So anyway, there's no frustration. It was all just like, make the best game that we can make. And so that's what we worked on. It took us a year. It was 5 of us worked on the game for most of a year, and then it turned into 6 people during the last 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Minh?
Oh, so with Counter-Strike, my motivation was just to make a game where, before I made it, I was a huge fan of Quake. I played a lot of Quake. I was even in a clan, so I was really good at Quake. And so I love the reflex, nice. The reflex involved in Quake. Just the individual skill required to play Quake. But I wanted to make a game that would be more team-focused, because I remember when I played Quake, I was just about myself. It was just about me, just getting the most frags. But I liked to play games like Team Fortress, where there was like this element of team play. And so I wanted to just kind of combine kind of like what I played from like Team Fortress and games like Rainbow Six. And I wanted to make a game that was just a bit more team focused, but still had that fast-paced element of Quake. So So that was really my motivation for making Counter-Strike, was just the combination of those fast-paced reflexes with something a little bit more team-focused. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I loved survival games. I got back into gaming through DayZ Mod, and I loved that sort of looter-shooter style game. There was an event called the Survivor Games, which was created by Brian Hicks and Jordan Taylor, but it was streamer-based, so you could only get in if you were a streamer. And I wanted to play this kind of game mode, but they organized it with admins controlling the zones, and I thought that was unfair because some streamers would be live longer than others, for example, if they were outside the zones. So I thought I can make this automatic. So yeah, created a Battle Royale. And the reason we have circles is because I couldn't code squares like in the original Battle Royale. So yeah, it's easier to code circles.
Yeah, I totally
agree. I wanted to create a game that was player versus player. There was no like pattern you had to figure out. It was just you against other players and not really telling you how to play. Because that's the way I wanted to play myself.
It's great because somehow you got a little bit of inspiration and motivation from each other and what was happening on the scene. So that's very cool. I wonder if when this was all happening, there was a point where you realized, wow, my game is it's becoming a monster. It's getting bigger than I thought. Did this happen? Do you remember that moment, John?
Well, yeah. I mean, while we're trying, like making Doom near the very end when we're gonna basically upload the game, we had people calling the office, just asking, like, is it done yet? And I was like, what? and there was an FTP site when we were going to put it up there. There was an FTP site that we decided to upload it to. And way before we were even there, people were sitting there, like the server was full of people waiting to download. And they were just creating files that were sentences like, when will it be here? And stuff like that in the directory. So people were waiting. And, Wolfenstein was really, really big at the time. And everybody, Wolfenstein came out May 5th of 1992. So people had, like, the rest of 92 and all of 93 waiting for Doom. And when we uploaded, we couldn't even upload it. We had to kick people off the server to be able to upload it. And then we finally uploaded it. The server went down 2 times before they could finally copy it out of there and put it on every other servers. So yeah, we knew people really, really wanted the game, and basically we're crashing. There was an IRC.
I wanted to say without social media, it was only IRC. I mean, we were like
IRC was social media back then, and that was just splitting, so you couldn't even talk. There were so many people, the channel was splitting all over the place, so you couldn't say anything, except like, okay, Doom is up, and then everyone's going crazy. Like when you're watching a Twitch stream and it's just like scrolling so fast you can't read anything. That's what IRC was like back then.
Right,
crazy.
I remember that.
You could flood the channels and just drop out of IRC very easily when this happened.
Yeah, it exploded. It was huge.
What about Counter-Strike?
Oh yeah, so for Counter-Strike, there was a moment when we realized the game was becoming really popular when we first released it. So the player base was sharply increasing, and we were all getting really excited. And I think at one point, like it became like the #1 played online shooter. And I think it was at that point we realized, wow, this is something special that we had. But the funny thing is, not many people realize this, but actually about 6 months after the first version of Counter-Strike, I was actually joining another company to make another game that was supposed to be competing with Counter-Strike. So this game was called Global Operations, and I actually took like a couple months off of Counter-Strike to work on this game. And I was working with this company, and we were supposed to make a game that was supposed to overtake Counter-Strike's popularity. But 2 months after I joined this company, I was approached by Valve, and Valve basically offered me an opportunity to work with Valve. And so it was at that point that I decided to just join Valve, and then the rest is history, and Counter-Strike just kind of took off from there. But at one point, there was a chance that Counter-Strike could have stopped working. I could have stopped working on it like 6 months after I started it, and so
that wouldn't have been nice.
Exactly. Not many people realize that. I almost stopped working on Counter-Strike.
Now we know.
Yeah, but yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah.
I know for me it was the early days of the DayZ Battle Royale mod. When I just launched it, I could see the Orcon, the chat from the 6 servers I had up at the time. I saw one message from one guy saying, I waited 2 days to play this. And at that stage, I was like, oh, maybe I have something here. And then, well, PUBG was just PUBG. I mean, that was yeah, the numbers were so big at the start, we just didn't believe it, right? It was overwhelming. But yeah, I just remember that particularly from DayZ. I thought, okay, I have something here.
Yeah. Just a quick question for Brendan. When did you get contacted by Krafton to actually work on it?
Literally 2 weeks after H1Z1 said, I'm not giving you a team to finish off Battle Royale and King of the Hill.
Wow.
And I said, okay, that's fine, bye-bye. And
okay.
then, yeah, 2 weeks later, I got a call from Krafton going, do you want to come to Korea and have a team and build a Battle Royale?
Go to Blue Hole.
So,
Damn, yeah. So that's how it started.
Yeah.
Super. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that we spoke a little bit about each one of the games, you already know that these games pushed boundaries in different ways of the gaming industry, movement, tactics, map design, and everything. So which could be the pillars, do you believe, to define a great FPS or a multiplayer shooter?
Jeez. Great movement, amazing weapons, awesome audio, interesting enemies. Maybe some other types of innovations in the way that you move through the game, like cover systems were an interesting thing at the very beginning. I think Red Dead Revolver was one of the first ones to do that. Just different way, like even rules, like Battle Royale. Like there's a new way of playing this type of game with a new constraint or a new ability, and that's kind of like what shooter design has evolved into. Is just like, okay, what's the new ability? What's the new thing? So it's not like a copy of everything that's already out there. It's got to be some new hook out there.
I think for me, when I was working on Counter-Strike, the one thing that I wanted Counter-Strike to be about was I wanted the players to be more skilled at using their guns. Because I remember when I played Quake and Unreal Tournament, using the guns was quite easy. I would just put my cursor there and I would just, the gun would just shoot where I pointed it. But I wanted a game to be more like, they have to shoot in real life. Because in real life, when you shoot a gun, it's like this amount of recoil. And so there's a bit of skill involved. So I wanted to make a game that kind of made it feel a little bit more realistic, where you actually had to pay attention to your shooting and not just hold the button down and just go crazy, right? So I wanted to encourage players to shoot in very controlled bursts, like a real police officer.
Like tactical.
Yeah, tactically. And so that was really my main pillar for making Counter-Strike, was make the guns feel skill-based and just make sure that the maps are encouraging team play. Because when we were designing the maps for Counter-Strike, we had to make sure that they were kind of funneling the players into certain areas. And so we designed it so the firefights would be, the teamwork would kind of evolve from just the way that the maps were designed. And so, yeah, because I remember when the very first version of Counter-Strike, we didn't know how to make the maps, and the maps were really terrible. And we had players just in different parts of the map, and it was not very fun. But it was something we learned over time, that we need to just basically kind of shepherd the players into certain areas, and then that way the firefights would be more exciting. Yeah. So.
Not easy to find a balance, so it's not too easy, but not too hard, so everyone wants to play, but it's, this is something that many people didn't want to play Quake at the beginning, because they're like, wow, this is a hard game, it's super quick, you need to, or CS.
Yeah.
I get into the server and suddenly I'm dead, I don't like it, It's like, yeah, well, learn to play the game.
But no, I heard this, so a lot of games have a 51% win rate, so you're always winning,
yeah,
so to
but
speak.
that's...
PUBG has a 20% win rate. Someone came to us, I think, at DevCom going, how do you figure out that it was 20% win rate? It's we didn't. Thank you for that information. It was there was a really good line on Reddit. I saw that Call of Duty makes even the newest player feel like Rambo, whereas PUBG goes, F you, get better, right?
Yeah.
And I like that. It's that's the kind of game I want to make, that it's hard to master, easy to learn.
Yeah.
PUBG's not difficult. It's it's pretty understandable even by my grandmother, right? That guy needs to stay alive. These other people are trying to kill him. Okay. And actually, from Counter-Strike, I made PUBG as a kind of a counter to what I found all the shooters I was playing at the time were super about reflexes and stuff like that, and I wanted something slower. I'm an older guy. I want something that I'm not spamming fire. So it was more about strategy for me. So I wanted to make that longer round, because I couldn't play Counter-Strike. I tried playing Counter-Strike and I got kicked off teams for team killing and stuff. I'm just terrible. But yeah.
And in the 90s, games were really fast in the 90s anyway.
Yeah.
So Wolfenstein was the fastest, and Doom slowed down, and that was still fast. And Quake was slower even, and that's still really fast.
I remember the day I went from Quake to CS, it was like, Aren't we moving somewhere? They're behind a box. No, stay here.
Instead of just running like you do in
I was used to
Quake.
bam, running.
Also, the name Counter-Strike is from Quake. Operation Counter-Strike is the name of the operation in Quake that is happening.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, read the manual. It says Operation Counter-Strike.
Discovery.
The original DayZ Battle Royale, I have a trailer for it. The original rounds were 90 minutes long. It was an hour and a half for a game rather than like what it's got to now, which is like 15, 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah. You know, an interesting thing about the name Counter-Strike is when we were making the game, we were actually approached by Microsoft. They told us, you got to change the name of your game because we have an internal project called Counter-Strike. And I'm like, what? No, I already released my game. I can't change the name of the game.
Yeah, it's out.
And so I was like, no, I can't do that. I just ignored them. And they kept pestering me for like 3 months. And after a while, the game just became popular and they stopped bothering me.
That's epic. Mean ignoring Microsoft.
But I was basically approached by Microsoft. They told me to just change the name of the game, but it's weird.
Well, now that we talk about Counter-Strike, you helped create the game, which was a mod, like Arma 2 mod for you, Brendan. Do you feel that modding is still a gateway to innovation? Is something, yes?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. That's the fastest way to innovation.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, I think with modders, they're not tied to any conventions. With AAA games, they have to make money. They have to make a product that has low risk, that has low risk for failure. So every time they make a game, they have to have, okay, it's got to be a remake. It's got to be like a sequel. You know, it's like low risk, right? But with modders, they're just dudes just trying to like innovate. You know, just trying to create a new.
So like no one expects anything good here. I'm gonna try, right?
Well, yeah, for sure, yeah, because they have little to lose. Like most of them are kind of young. They're able to take a risk.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
as an example, Team Fortress.
Yeah.
That's a mod.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Portal
Yeah, for sure.
is a mod.
Dota is a mod.
Yes.
Portal's a mod on Quake. Yes.
Like Dota, Dota was a mod. It was a mod of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Stop it now.
DayZ was a mod. Battle Royale was a mod.
Exactly.
Counter-Strike was a mod.
Yeah.
All the longest-lasting, biggest games.
So-
And what happened to the main games?
Yeah, well, they're the foundation, right?
Yes.
I mean, the Quake is a foundation for tons of games.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, for sure.
So how do you see the evolution of the FPS games, all these 3 decades behind us?
Well, I mean, from the very beginning, it was a very action-oriented type of game, and then it started splitting into a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
For me, tactical shooting was like my favorite splinter. You know, like I love Ghost Recon, love Rainbow Six. I play Siege. You know, like I love the type of gameplay there, but I also like the arcadey feel. You know, but yeah, I think people are still going to find ways of adding new modes or adding new types of gameplay because that's what everybody's trying to do right now. There's always a new thing like the finals, blow up the whole environment.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
there's always like got to be something. That's a hard thing to do. That is like in game dev.
Yes.
Making an engine that can blow up the world like that is really difficult. But that's how you keep your game away from everyone else when you can't do that.
Yeah,
you
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not only technically hard to make a game that the level destroys, but it's also like from a game design perspective, it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Because if the level is changing, how do you balance that, right?
Yeah.
So, but the finals seems to have done a pretty great job of it because they're doing really well, and it's great to see that.
And you?
And what was the question?
The evolution of FPS.
Yeah, the evolution.
Again,
And also I will add something. What would have happened, or would it have worked the same way if it was the other way around? Or so let's say today we launched Doom, or well, Quake, the very first one, or CS.
Yeah.
Would it be the same in this evolution, or no? It was the right time,
I think it was just the right time.
Everything builds on everything else, so there's no
I
way
could've
that
never
something
made it
could have been
if
before.
he didn't make Quake. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Exactly.
Or even like Half-Life, right? Like Half-Life was made on Quake.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
so
really just
Half-Life, and then
iterative.
Half-Life 2, and like the narrative leaps that they made, turning a shooter into like a movie almost, a playable movie.
I know, but I can say just from watching Battle Royale evolve from like just a slow tactical strategic thing that I did into like even Bonfire's new game, which is kind of like a Battle Royale myth and magic type thing, which is cool. And I've been saying like I wanted to see that for years, like For Honor Battle Royale, like this kind of like it's just a game mode, right? And then the game mode gives you so many opportunities for being creative with how you the weapons, whatever abilities you choose for that game mode, and that's been amazing to see.
It was like Heretic and Hexen. I wanted to see a different kind of, like, not just World War II or military-looking game. Like, how about magic, like medieval and stuff? And that's why we made Heretic and Hexen as well.
Actually, I had a question for Brendan. Were you influenced by that movie, the Japanese movie?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some of the first images I did for Reddit were like two of the characters from DayZ standing there with Battle Royale, like the movie poster.
Okay.
Like, and again, it had squares in the movie, and I couldn't do that.
And
that even had a game design problem because how do you have two people in two different squares come to each other if everything else is red?
Right.
So the circle kind of solves all that.
Because I was inspired by movies as well to make when I was making Counter-Strike. So I think that's what we a lot of our inspiration comes from movies.
Yeah.
So different mediums really inspire.
Makes sense, and it makes even more sense nowadays that we are seeing this cross media.
Yeah.
But Brendan, I wanted to ask, you changed the mechanics of the FPS games with the survival games somehow. Did you? I mean, in your while designing, what did you keep, and what did you say? This we don't need for this kind of games. Is there anything you just decided to throw?
No. So for Battle Royale, it was always a fight between two players, and so it should never be hard to know where the blue zone is or how to get into the circle. It should be a challenge to find the right loot and a challenge to fight other players, but you should be able to, challenge people with a frying pan should you, play well enough, right? But it's almost like poker, right? Like you all get the same deck of cards at the start, and what you pick up is what you play with, and it really becomes down a game of a mental game between you and all the players.
Yeah.
And like, it's an FPS game, sometimes it's a horror game, because you open a door and there's a clown standing there, you're going to jump, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
To me, like the thing that I loved about Battle Royale, which is so different than all other types of death matches and PvPs, is that when you have 100 people in such a massive area of space, people who are not that good at least have some time to play.
Right.
Right. So it's not like Counter-Strike where you jump in and you're dead if you don't know everything about Counter-Strike. You can jump into PUBG and
you hide for a while.
First you try to land somewhere.
Most times from hiding in bushes.
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
dude.
And then you just
crazy,
snipe people.
Yeah.
Like you just go into a room, go get some loot, whatever, and look for people. But it's like there's so much room that people who are no good can just play for 5 minutes. Then they get headshot. Well,
I love the mechanism where when the game starts, you can decide where you want to land, right? And if you're a really shitty player like me, I always go to the edges. I'm like, that's the hot shit. So I avoid the hot zones because I can't keep up with these kids with the good shots, right? So
hot dropping. Oh my God! Like I mean, I never do it.
I know.
But it is good to practice, right? I mean, and that's the nice
crazy.
thing about the emergent game space, which is you can play whatever way you want.
Yeah,
right? I'm not going to tell you to play a particular way because that's the way I like to play.
It's a sandbox.
Exactly.
Have fun.
Yeah.
So I guess you've been following the rise of streaming and competitive gaming and all that. Would you change anything if it was now that you had to do the game? So knowing that you will have the game streamed, that you will have a lot of competitive situations, and so on, would you do the game differently?
Yeah, games evolve with technology. So social media wasn't there back in the day, but now that there's social media and there's services like Twitch and YouTube Live and that kind of thing, games will take advantage of that. And there's lots of stuff that's being planned and worked on right now that's not even being used yet because it hasn't emerged. But there's lots of futuristic, social media things that are going to be happening with games that just make sense with the what's going out on the internet right now going on. So I was been working on a shooter for years using a brand new type of technology that is woven into the whole design, and nobody's done it yet, but everyone's going to be doing it. So it's like everything is evolving all the time.
No, but I love to see, I remember seeing Twitch plays PUBG, and they managed to get to third place, I think. But I love that idea that, I wanted some kind of, pro-am, where you've got streamers and pros in an arena, and then the audience, like Hunger Games, can influence what's going on, like bring in nasty weather, drop a care package, this kind of stuff, and kind of give that live interaction of, an esports stage, right? So it becomes more of an event. And that sort of excites me. But I saw from the early days, I was very friendly to streamers that wanted to have a server for a Sub Sunday or something. I just give them a server because, why not? I build games with communities rather than for them, right? it's not about following trends. It's just build something you love to build, right? And the community will form around that if there is one, right?
If it's good.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Actually, I remember the competitive setup we had to do with when I was working at ESL for PUBG. Like, how do you put all these people together and make it easy to follow, easy to watch?
Yeah.
That's one thing I wish we'd done a little bit better, which was the way you spectate. Like, you have to look at it more like golf or like rallying, where it's you cast to tape rather than cast live. And it's no point you tell a story of a team or a player rather than trying to focus on action all the time. So there's lots of opportunity for growth there and how to. But yeah, I wish like there was more sustainable esports because you see like the franchise model I hate. And I think like CSGO have done an amazing job of creating this ecosystem that like supports teams, players, community. It's great. So you know, I'd love to see
I'm
more
even
of
now remembering we had Quake, and Quake was easy to follow, and still there were no streamings or anything. And then years later we had Overwatch, which was impossible to follow at the beginning. It's like, how would you make a game which is not possible to follow on an era where you have to make it visible for everyone, you know? And you had somehow this vision.
You have to have camera operators, and all this stuff can be Quake-C programmed, right? Like cameras and people manning those
Fly
cameras.
on the map and so on.
Yeah,
People, like,
people are making Machinima was started by Quake, you know, and people were just starting to make movies and figuring out how to have cameras and move stuff around, and they could do that for esports too. You know.
Yeah, I mean, interesting thing about that is I was at an esports event recently, and I met the guy who actually is responsible for doing all the camera cuts. And you know, I asked him, how do you know which one to focus on, right? Because everybody's dying, actions, and he tells me, I know because I used to play and I know what they're about to do. And whenever I see a player move there, I know he's about to do this. So the people that are doing these camera cuts, he's a pro player. He's a former player. He understands the game very well. Yeah. So it takes someone who has a lot of experience doing that to be able to do that.
Did you work with pro players for your games at some point?
Not me personally, actually. When I made the game, I just wanted to make a game that was fun in a public random environment with a bunch of strangers. It was the pro leagues that kind of came up to us and asked to kind of mold the game to change it, and so they were giving us input basically. Yeah.
Okay. And
yeah, we reached out to pros a bunch during setting up the esports to kind of come up with settings everyone was happy with. Like the initial settings for PUBG Esports, the super settings, were basically worked with the pro teams, kind of figure out the best way to create because Battle Royale is pretty random. You want to set it up in such a way that it is fairly random for the players playing.
There were no pros.
No pros.
Except for us, you know.
No fatality, no Socrates, no one was.
They never existed. Yeah. So I mean, I played all the time, so I was actually the pro back then. And I still play Doom.
Wasn't there some leaks for Quake though? Oh no.
No, we uploaded a Q test.
Oh,
we put Q test out February 96.
Yeah.
Just to do internet testing. But there were a lot of Doom death matches and prizes and even on location places where you could go and Doom death match in a dark room kind of thing. Wow. And I used to go to all those and would just win. Even today, I go to conferences all the time, and there's Doom death matches.
You're playing in your own game?
I play Doom.
Isn't that cheating?
No, because everyone's had the opportunity for 30 years.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
I deathmatch in Doom like all the time, and it's just like anybody you think you're good, let's go, and nobody's beaten me yet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you used to have those tournaments where you play against.
I still have tournaments all the time.
That's right.
Yeah, so I play Doom professionally.
You still play your games?
Yeah. Oh yeah. In fact. Every November, every year, Quake players fly to Ireland. They come to Galway, and we just have death match over a whole weekend. Like Lord Lame, yeah, it's Romero's Death Jam, and so like Lord Lame, who streams Quake every day for years, he's there. We have the best Quake players anywhere. They're all pro badasses. I can't even get close to these people. Like they are the esports level, where you just want to watch them, and it's insane. But it's a whole weekend of pizza and drinks.
Pizza and drinks?
Yeah, pizza and drinks and just Quake deathmatch. Yeah.
Wow,
it's
my
super
dream.
cool.
So I want to go.
Yeah, you gotta come back. It's in November. First week of November.
Wow. Well,
that's next month. Great.
I know it's coming
right.
up. It's coming
up. So let's
up.
prepare. None of your games were thought, I think, as an esport game. But they became huge. Why do you think that is? What made them so special still nowadays?
Well, with Doom, it was the fact that we put multiplayer in a game for the first time, and so that made it like, hey, we could just actually have some sort of sport thing going on here. And so even when after Doom came out, it was only just a few months before the first location in Austin opened. Austin Virtual, what's it called? Austin Virtual Gaming. That's it, AVG. They opened up. They had custom-built octagons with 27-inch monitors on 4 sides, with all the computers, networked inside, with network cords, cables coming to the main computer where they captured all the packets and had live scores playing for every game that was going on. And they could do whatever they want in the game, because you can actually inject packets into a game if you want to tell everybody it's 10 seconds or 5 seconds left or whatever. So there was actually on-location stuff going on. So we were aware of that because I was playing in those tournaments down there too. And while we're making Quake, we're like, we need to have the ability to have cameras and movement and all this stuff. And while making Quake, we had people basically come into the office going, we're going to start a sports center, we're going to have a grocery store, and we're going to buy a grocery store, defunct grocery store, and just fill it full of games. And we're just going to have leagues. And we're going to have tournaments and everything going on.
So that's like a vision.
It was already happening. Yeah. In fact, during Quake, the idea we had started another company called idnet, and the idea was that we would build a huge castle level, and that castle would have certain areas with portals, like teleporters, and those teleporters would send you to a server that some modder had created their own version of some level, or CTF levels or whatever. And then they could either host them or we host them. And if they host them, then they will have we will give them money from all the packet traffic, and basically just like let the community make money off of creating mods and levels and stuff. And but I left, and so I was the one who wanted to do that. So we started the company, and we're getting it all kind of ready. But it was all community focused. It was all about getting people doing this. But esports was starting. People were lots of people were already starting to talk.
I remember there was no name for esports, but we already were playing professionally somehow. So I didn't have a salary at the beginning. I was just there hours and hours. And
Yes. Oh well, with Counter-Strike esports, as I said, I never meant the game to be in esports. It was mostly these tournaments external to us that kind of saw the game and saw how balanced it was, and they were the ones that just kind of approached us. And they were kind of just asking us to add features, because at Counter-Strike, we didn't have a spectator mode, and so they were the ones that were really pushing us to add that in. And so it was mostly done, it was mostly just from external pressures from just the community that were doing it. But yeah, like as I said, Counter-Strike was never designed to be an esports game. It just kind of naturally came about, yeah.
I saw, because I was inspired by Survivor games, I did see opportunity to do kind of more like a competitive like FPS, but it was never really built with that in mind. It was like esports aren't determined by you; it's by the community. Like if the game is good enough and people enjoy playing it,
that would be the next question. If you wanted to make an esport, isn't that easy?
No.
No,
because you've seen this so many times where companies come out and go, "This will be the next esport," and it never is. Like it first has to get traction in the community and build a community, and then they'll tell you if they want to play competitively.
It's more of please, community, love my game. No?
Yeah. Well, it's like one example is Overwatch. The Activisions, they spent a lot of resources to try to make that game in esports, and I think it kind of succeeded in some ways, but it doesn't have the same amount of staying power as a game like Counter-Strike, because Overwatch, maybe naturally it's not easy to be in esport, to follow, as a spectator, because I think that's one of the biggest complaints with Overwatch. It's hard to kind of spectate it.
Unless you play the game, right?
Exactly, that's the balance we were talking about. Playing the game might be a lot of fun, but then if you need people to follow what's happening with all the magics and all the...
Look at Dota, have the newbie stream, where they have people explaining stuff kind of, and then they have like the pro stream where you need to know the game to understand what's going on.
At the end, you're like, in some of the games you have few items, in other games you just shoot, and it's strategic, and if you put too much, then it becomes too difficult. It's complicated.
The problem with esports has been like, what is the game? Because in regular sports, it's like there's football, there's baseball, there's basketball, there's hockey. Like there's a bunch of different games out there, and there's lots of fans of those games. And with esports, it was like, okay, it's Doom. Wait, no, now it's Quake. Now it's Counter-Strike. Now it's League of Legends. Now, and so it's like jumping from game to game, and nobody's made the game that is the permanent game.
You think it should be one game?
Doesn't need to be one. I mean, there isn't one in the world, right?
Yeah.
There's football and baseball, those
Yeah.
kinds of games. So it has to be something everyone can understand and be interesting. And like, if you don't know football, you're still like looking at something like, okay, they're throwing something around.
You understand?
Yeah, you're like, I'll try to like this.
Well,
but you gotta like the action itself, you know, already before
that would
you
be one of the keys of shooters, which are easy to understand. And if you compare to a MOBA, sometimes it's like, what's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, if you had to make the shooter today, knowing what you know, what kind of shooter would you make? Or do you have anything on your back pocket or something waiting to come out?
Well, I mean, I've been working on a shooter for years now, and I can't say anything about it because when you're in development, you can't like give any information out because the publisher wants to market, be the first to put that out.
So it's coming soon.
No.
No.
Because like when you're gonna make a game, it depends on how big it is and how many people are on it. It's like could be 5-year development, and like as a game designer, you have to kind of see the future. You have to predict where people will be at that time when it's released, because there's things happening now, but you need to go beyond that because things change all the time. So you have to go, what is the extrapolation of what we're doing, and what kind of technology will be around, and how can we get close to a target? So you have to spend a lot of time, and like you don't do that in 5 minutes or a day. You're doing it constantly. Yeah. And a game in development is already changing, and the big ideas around that are also changing sometimes depending on what's happening in the world of games. But usually you have to define a target and have consensus around that design, that is a good place to go. Like the finals, nobody's going to blow up the whole world. Is that cool? Like we're going to go for that target, and if we veer off of that, we risk being like any other game. So you have to like define where you're gonna go, get buy-in from the publisher, and work every day to strengthen that.
So like have a goal,
target.
but still the way could change a lot.
Yeah, it could change. I mean, games change all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Minh, you have any?
I mean, for me, I feel like the multiplayer FPS scene is really crowded right now, and I think for me personally, if I'm gonna make a game, I would need a lot of resources in order to compete with games like Valorant and all these other multiplayer FPS. So right now, I'm actually just working on a PvE game, a co-op shooter, which I feel like is a little bit less challenging, less crowded market. So I'm just trying to I'm just making a game that's kind of like Payday. But you play as the good guys, so yeah. But I mean, I'd love to revisit PvP though.
Alpha Response.
Yes. I'm working on a game called Alpha Response, which is basically Payday, but you play as the good guys. People kind of describe it as Counter-Strike mixed with Left 4 Dead. I was thinking that's pretty apt. It's very fast-paced.
Fun.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's
fun.
very fast-paced. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to work on a PvP game. I always have some ideas, but I always feel like in order to really compete in the PvP space, you really have to have a lot of resources, a lot of a really good budget. I tried to make a PvP game like in 2007, but that kind of failed because we just had a small budget. And so yeah, it's a big challenge. I think so. But one day I'd like to try again for sure.
Yeah, I'm making a single-player survival emergent game. Not really a shooter at all. Probably not going to have guns in it. Like, you can get asked to put animals in it, but that means hunting, and that means all kinds of systems.
But that's like right now.
Well, give me some years.
But imagine you have everything, resources, like time, like a team, and you could have it like by the end of the year.
Oh, easy, right?
Yeah.
Press the optimize button, all good.
But
for me, it's like, even when I was doing PUBG, people were asking me what's going to be different to H1Z1. And my kind of thought process is, why does it need to be different? Like, I look at it more like a 911 than like a Ford. Where like one car is just a refinement every year. And I think that's what I'd like to, if I ever went back to PvP, that's what I'd want to do, which is taking the idea I had and just refining it a bit more. And as I said, polishing movement, this kind of stuff, to not try to throw everything at it and add bells and whistles, just focusing on the core idea, because most of the good stuff is simple, right?
Yeah,
I really believe in that.
I think not having a gun in there is great. I mean, that's a design challenge, right? Because making a game that's exciting without a gun is like, Nintendo's done a great job, right, with doing that. And the thing is, there's some really great games out there, like Peak, right? Like, it's great. But there's another one I was going to tell you about last night, where there is a game where it's just exploring with 4 friends, and it's a beautiful world, and there's all kinds of like, hidden buildings and caves and stuff that's built into the world, and people. It's proximity chat, so it's like you could get lost from your friends. And like, oh my God, they have flares and they have to do stuff to like get over here. They just found something really cool. And sometimes people just like go on Discord.
I want that. Like, I think
you want that kind of exploration, right?
But it just to add multiplayer means rewriting a lot of the code. And just right now we've got to make sure the world is because we can generate essentially an infinite number of maps, 8x8s that you can go explore, and just making sure that every one of those 8x8s is the same map, right? That it's all the same world for every player, so you can share seeds and all this kind of stuff.
I think your idea is great. I really like the idea. Yeah.
I don't know what his idea is.
We don't know yet.
He hasn't even told me.
Yet. What about our frenemy AI? What's happening with this? You count on it? You don't like it? You want to keep the soul of the game?
There's a ton of stuff going on with AI.
That's a big topic.
It's a big topic, We use AI to make games, but you'll never see it on the screen. Like we use it for every aspect of games. And it's useful to do that. But yeah, AI has lots of issues, and AI is also everything that already exists is what you get. So you don't get invention or innovation.
Exactly,
it's like a calculator, right? Like it's useful to speed up complicated or complex tasks.
It's just
but you still need to know math.
So when you scared of AI, it's like a calculator.
It's a tool, really.
But it's
AI is a tool.
I think it's really good at summarizing information that just kind of scattered all over the internet. Because before AI, I would use Google search, right? But now Google search is terrible. I have to use AI to do what I used to use in Google search. So it's like, God damn it. It seems like they've just reinvented this problem that I already had solved. Because 10 years ago, Google search, I would just type in blah, 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 and I would get all the results. And it was perfect. I didn't have to do that. But now I have to use AI to do the Google search for me, kind of thing.
And that's not even deterministic, so it could be wrong.
So it's kind of frustrating.
We're becoming lazy even more.
But I do see AI being used in other ways, like for detecting hacking. I know Counter-Strike is using a machine learning system that actually observes players' videos, right? So they can observe the players' videos, and they can compare it to a bunch of other videos, and they use machine learning to determine if this guy is hacking or not. By using AI. So AI is useful in a lot of other aspects.
It's a good pattern recognition tool.
Right?
It's very good
exactly.
At that, right?
It's good pattern recognition, and that's what it is. I don't really like to use it as a replacement for design or content generation.
But this is it, like it can help you if you have a novel idea. It can help you pad out that idea and expand on it.
Exactly.
But you have to come up with a novel idea. You can't just go, give me a new game mode.
An idea. Okay, you were talking before about movies, how they inspire you and all that. We are seeing this wave now of game adaptations that are going into movies, Arcane, Fallout, Last of Us. How do you see, or would you love to see your games being adapted also to a movie or a show or something?
Yeah, mine was a garbage movie.
Why?
It's not good. Doom, when it came out, the movie came out,
there was garbage. Two of them, weren't there? There was two.
Yeah, Annihilation, it's even worse.
Oh, shit.
Horrible. But I mean, like, they figured out the Marvel formula, like, do that with Doom. Like, come on, do something really quality with Quake, or, like, they could do it now. But like, would
Quake, a TV show of 8 episodes, I can see it.
That'd be great, I mean, everyone had just like binge a season or whatever. But yeah, you have to, you can take a world of like, say, Quake, and then have really great writers. It's all about having relatable characters, interesting situations with crazy stuff in there, and then just like make a season of that. And they can do that now. Like they've started mastering that. It's just like, it happened 20 years ago, and now it was garbage. But now, let's redo Doom, let's redo Quake.
The time has come.
Yeah, let's do it.
What about you, games?
Well, I'm writing a comic book for the lore for the universe I'm building, prologue and all the games. So that's fun because I consume a lot of media, and I will watch a badly produced movie if the story's good, but if the story's bad, like. And that's what I'm constantly criticizing myself, going, no, this is cheesy, and going back and rewriting. So I think it's on like the 5th iteration at this stage of the comic book. But I'm getting to a point now that I'm kind of happy, but we have like the lore and all that locked in. So eventually someday, hopefully I'll have a comic book, because I grew up with comic books, so I want to write. And it's the easiest place really to build your universe, because it's like building it in a game is super hard, whereas our lore will kind of touch the games like very tangentially rather than like being focused around the lore itself.
Hey, what's a good movie you've seen recently? That really inspired you, do you think?
Oh God, I don't know. The
You seen Weapons? weapons?
No, but the one about the camp master of Auschwitz. What was it called?
What do you think about the movie?
Yeah, no, it was really good, but it was more the sound design of that movie was amazing because it was the people that it was like camp master of Auschwitz, and it was based in their home that lived next door to Auschwitz, and you could hear Auschwitz in the background. And it was just such a powerful movie.
That's right. That was. I can't remember the name of that movie, but what a great idea!
But it was amazing,
I love the idea.
like really, really amazing movie.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah.
What about a movie related to Counter-Strike?
Well, I mean, because Counter-Strike itself was, I was inspired by so many movies like Air Force One.
It's the other way around.
I just watched that last night.
Air Force
Dude,
One,
That movie holds up, man, so much. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Harrison Ford as the president. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
So like Heat,
Yeah.
So I was really inspired by
Pacino.
a lot of, and so every time actually like Hollywood makes a great movie, I always get kind of inspired by them. So yeah.
It helps a lot on IP to have a universe around it. So not just the game, not just the movie, everything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can,
I will say, like, I was inspired. There's a documentary about ILM called Light and Magic on Disney Plus.
The Disney.
And it's amazing because I was watching that going, oh, hell yeah. Like, a lot of the same ideas that George had in those early days, I can kind of relate to what I'm doing. Because, like, I have this idea for building these massive worlds, but the tech to do that doesn't exist yet. But we're trying to build it and still sort of build it around a vision of what it'll eventually be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super inspiring. I recommend you watch it. It's a great look into like the history of both Star Wars, but also
Have you Vista View? Taking these old cameras from the
going
40s.
from like even seeing the not the death of animatronics, but like the move from animatronics to CGI, and how like animatronics have come back in roaring now. But at that stage, people were thinking, oh well, that's the death of. And that you see the same with AI.
Yeah.
Like people go, oh, it's the end. No, it's not. It's like mathematician or calculators didn't get rid of mathematicians, and like cameras didn't get rid of artists.
Exactly. You're gonna plug that into a nuclear weapons? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly. Just
you have no
just
battery.
unplug it. Save the world and unplug it.
Unplug that. Their AI is gone.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is a little bit over-exaggerated, but yeah, we'll see.
In the movies.
Well,
No, it's the movies,
in
right?
general,
Everything's correct, connected.
yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But we love to be scared in general. So.
Yeah, I think so. But
Okay, I have three short, bonus, quick questions.
Okay.
Where do I start?
Go ahead.
Favorite weapon of all time?
Oh man, I love the rocket launcher, but the double barrel shotgun. Yeah.
You are this kind of player. See? Okay, Minh?
that's a good one. I would for me, well, I would say it was from Counter-Strike. I love the MP5. So the MP5 was
Hell yeah,
was a
that's such a
submachine
good
gun.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, such a
And the
good
reason
gun.
I like it is because I used to love to run and gun, I was never a camper. I was never the kind of guy that hide in corners. I would be like first guy through the door. And
Such a fast
yeah, so I just loved that gun because it allowed me to run and gun. So for me, that was that.
silencer?
No? Not so much because by the time they saw me, the silencer
late.
didn't matter. Yeah.
Brendan?
Oh, from Delta Force Black Hawk Down, the Macmillan Tactical. I just love that weapon. I used to know it by heart. I'd go a kilometer out the back of the base and just be sniping people from like 1.5 kilometers away, and I'd be a dot.
Oh,
and I'm
shit.
going off the mill dots into the black.
So you're
But I
the
loved it.
guy because I'm always
Yeah.
I'm you and then those
Yeah,
maps.
you don't hear me. It's just, you're dead.
Damn.
Okay,
Yeah.
now the other way. One game you wish you had made?
Oh, God.
That's a hard question.
I love Battlefield 1 and play the shit out of it. Yeah.
That was
But
so
again,
fun.
like, I mean, I don't know. I don't wish I'd made any other games.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't really think like that. But
Yeah.
I love Battlefield 1, if that
Okay.
Yeah.
answers the question.
I mean, for me, I mean, I really like Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Just for the way that they were able to build the world. It was just amazing. I wish I had the resources to make a game like that. But that game is just like it's just AAA and it's hard. You need a lot of like a great team to do that.
Time.
But exactly.
Time,
But just they executed it so well. Cyberpunk for me, 2017 was.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think most people realize, like, games like that, like, you know, they take 7 years.
Oh,
10
yeah.
years
Yeah.
to make,
Thousands
like,
of people make
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and they probably have like 500 people.
And that even some games never get to
and
see the light.
outsourcing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most games don't ever
Yeah.
publish.
Yeah.
I was working at Nintendo and saw them just.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Most people, most games do not get.
No, we had that moment
Yeah.
in the studio where,
Yeah.
like, when we put the open beta out for Go Way Back, like, one of the I think the COO or the CTO, Laurent, he did the engine for Mafia Reloaded. He's been working in like AAA games for a long time, and he said, like, today marks a point that most teams don't get to, releasing your game. And it is a heartbreaking industry that it's like this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have 3 games that I wish I made.
3, okay.
World of Warcraft.
Oh, wow.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
The movie too?
I didn't even watch the movie. I don't.
No?
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I would. I should though, because I lived in WoW for 5 years
cool,
every day.
Warcraft.
It was crazy. Minecraft. That would have been incredible to make that game. Yeah. But Marcus, he started programming because of Doom. So credits to Doom for that. And then Chrono Trigger. I wish I had made Chrono Trigger. Yeah. And Nobuo Uematsu is basically here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is he the designer for Chrono Trigger?
He's the guy who did all the music for all Final Fantasies, and he
Chrono
did some
Trigger?
Chrono Trigger. Yeah.
Oh.
He was like Yasunori Matsuda's mentor and worked on some of the songs in Chrono Trigger.
Wow.
He's like the god composer of all games.
Yeah.
I will keep the third question, and because I don't think we have much time. If someone has a question, maybe it's
sure.
at
Please,
least 1 or 2. I don't know if we have time for more
please.
than 1 or 2.
Oh,
One.
yeah.
Let's do 1.
Yeah.
I've seen you the first, the guy in the green
Sure.
shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, that went quick.
You can just shout.
Yeah.
I didn't touch anything. Okay, here.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Just started to working. Okay, so first of all, since we have much time, so I think I want to speak for all of us. Thank you, all 3 of you, because most of people right here grew up playing your games. So thank you very much for your creations. So my question is for John in particular. So I love Doom. I love the franchise Doom. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the latest Doom, the latest trilogy of Doom?
I was really happy in 2016 when that game came out, and I saw that they had taken the essence of what Doom was, and they translated it to modern tech, modern audience, even more aggressive. Like, it was the essence of Doom, and it's almost like when you see Brutal Doom, if you'd ever seen that mod. If you ever saw Brutal Doom, like the first time I saw it, I was like, we would have been banned if the game came out looking like this, and so it's like everyone's used to it now. And Doom 2016 was just like over the top as well, like with glory kills and stuff. So I was really happy with that. The latest Dark Ages, I actually really liked Dark Ages. They just went different, they went from fighter jet to tank. And I love fighter jet. I love just like going through the air and swinging and all that stuff. But I really like Dark Ages because it's like it's another challenge to take that character, Doomslayer, and have him be just as aggressive but feel like more of a badass tank. It's like a super fast.
I've played it and it feels good to just spam everything.
It's fun, yeah.
1 more question.
Buenas. Yo soy programador. Bueno, te lo voy a decir en español.
Vale.
Y luego lo traduzco. Yo soy programador y...
Fácil, A ver.
No. Hombre, los videojuegos han evolucionado mucho en texturas, en la herramienta para crearlos, pero en lo que es el código en sí, la esencia del código para hacerlos, ¿eso ha habido tanta evolución en 30 años?
Does the code of the games evolve as much as the games themselves? So the code is different?
Code changes every day.
Oh.
Cada día
Yeah.
cambia el código.
Oh, the source code?
Yeah, the source code changes every single day. Like when you have 100 people and like 40 of them are programmers, they're making new stuff, changing constantly. Yeah, every day it changes.
Pues eso. Well, then I guess it's time. Please give it up once more for our incredible guests, Brendan Greene, Minh, and John Romero.